Namaskar. Welcome to Beyond Headlines with Akhilesh and me, Sujit Nair. Minimum support price or MSP is the biggest launch that the government has said to have done for the farmers of India. The government terms it historic. The government says it's the biggest gift that we are going to give the agri sector. Opposition calls it Jumla. Opposition says it's a sham. Amidst all this, let us understand what exactly MSP is.
Sujit, it's the minimum support price which the government guarantees as a price to a farmer. It's very controversy ridden. At the very inception, the question is, how do you compute it? M.S. Swaminathan, a very respected agri-scientist, he propagates a formula called C250. He says comprehensive cost plus 50% profit. In comprehensive cost, he includes a notional return on the cost of the land by way of an interest, or if you had taken it on rent. So C2 is a bigger cost structure. Government follows A2 plus FL plus 50%. A2 is cost incurred towards seed, fertilizer, fuel and irrigation. FL is family labor because every farmer works on the farm.
Yes.
Plus 50%. So 50% return, both agree. But the base of cost is very different because the government is not willing to give you a notional return on the market price of the land that you're tilling and farming on. So the minimum support price is the price that the government guarantees to a farmer for the produce that he grows.
Okay.
That's the concept. The thought is, let the farmer not be exploited by the vagaries of the market. But the ground realities are totally different.
And what are the ground realities, Akhilesh? For starters, I believe that this minimum support price is only limited to a few products, not to all.
Yes. Like the present announcement they made is for the Kharif crops, the summer crops as they call it. So paddy is included in it, but not wheat, which is a winter crop, which is a rabi crop. So at the moment it is a summer crops for which they have announced an increase, and not every item is covered. Only 14 items are covered.
Only 14 out
And
of
even in the 14, let me point out, a product like jowar, it's a very popular food grain for, the common man. The government procures nothing of jowar, even though it is included in the MSP. There's something called a ragi, a Niger seed, they have procured nothing. So, it is meant to be only directed for a political purpose.
And it is actually not going to help the real farmers.
Let's look at it like this, Sujit, first. Suppose the price is really handsome or very attractive. There's a very big lobby which denies it. Even the likes of M.S. Swaminathan, who I would take as a very credible commentator on this subject, he says it is not adequate. So, even if for a moment the price was very attractive, how many farmers are able to sell to the government, or how much of the produce is procured by the government? Just 15%. So only 15% of the farmers, they benefit from the minimum support price. Rest of the 85% are left out. And that too, primarily for commodities like pulses, wheat and paddy. The rest of it, procurement is very low, and estimate actually is only 6%. So on paper, it's an announcement. On ground reality, the farmer doesn't get a price, even if I deem it attractive. Suppose there's no controversy on it. I'll give you an example how, despite a minimum support price, the farmer is left to the vagaries of the market. Last year, the support price for tur dal was 5,450 per quintal. In Maharashtra, farmers have sold tur dal at 3,500 a quintal. So they did not get 5,450 a quintal. The government doesn't have the procurement infrastructure. How will it even implement the minimum support price? So it is nice to say we care for farmers and farmers must be enriched. Mr. Modi says that he will double farmer income, I think by 2022 or something. That's the year he's given. But it never reaches the farmer. The farmer is still at the vagaries of the market.
It is so unfortunate that Indian agricultural industry and the Indian farmers are the one that has been constantly been given false hope. Constantly, not just by this government, by all the governments even before this, constantly given false hope, and especially this government because you have actually we are talking about a 2.5% GDP on agricultural growth in India.
During the tenure of the NDA, the present NDA, the GDP of agri has grown only by 2.4%, which means there is an agrarian crisis. On the other hand, this year they have this present MSP increase is an average increase of 13%. To me, this kind of an MSP increase is very politically driven because we still don't know on what basis they calculated. We do not know how do they factor in the state-to-state variations. Like the Orissa Agriculture Minister says that what are you talking about a paddy price of 1,750 a quintal in this MSP? The cost in Orissa is 2,750 a quintal. So how are they computing the cost? How does the farmer get a return? Which crops should be in focus and why? I think these are all very politically driven decisions. You take the UPA tenure, between 2009 to 2013, they increased the MSP on an average rate of 19.3% a year. In the BJP's tenure, it has been only 3.6% a year. They are very politically driven decisions. That's why the entire exercise, we are not able to understand as professionals, how did you calculate it? On what basis, for what region, factoring what kind of a return, all that is only the government knows.
And end of the day, the way it has been projected to the farmers is
Historic.
that it is going to be historic. It is a very sad thing. See, this is going to be another Modi care. This is going to be another 10 crore jobs. This is going to be another promise that has been given and that has not been fulfilled. Akhilesh, loan waiver, especially in Maharashtra, nothing has happened. Loan waiver, even in Uttar Pradesh, not much has happened. The insurance, nothing much has happened. So, technically speaking, why is it that for this government, when it comes to agriculture, why is that this government has been giving false promises one after another, after another, after another?
You know, I think they have realized that in their 4-year tenure, they have ignored the agri sector. That explains why the MSP price increase was only 3.6% per year. I'm sure because of inflation, the increase in input cost of the farmer was much more. So the farmer, I'm sure today is not better off than what he was today in 2014. Suddenly they have realized that, oh, this is going to be an election issue. So they have, done this kind of an exercise, made an announcement. Mr. Rajnath Singh calls it historic. All India Kisan Sabha calls it a historic betrayal. So there are two sides of the coin. But the very fact that at the ground level, the farmer is in a crisis means it is an ignored lobby. Maybe it is not politically so important for them.
I think farmer base is going to be very important in 2019.
Maybe that's
Rural
why
India is going to be very important in 2019.
Maybe that's why in this budget they had announced that we are going to come up with this minimum support price. We will guarantee a 50% return to the farmer. It did not cut ice at that point of time. Of course, not to the political opposition parties, but even to us, because the definition of A2 plus FL plus 50% or C2 plus 50% are very, very ambiguous in their implementation. So I think it was more an announcement, and that is how this has come across now. The increase is not uniform. For example, an item like jowar, the increase in MSP is much more, but they procured no jowar last year. Where was the need for increase? So statistical adjustment has taken place. Paddy, which is a huge increase, which is a huge procurement that takes place by the government, the increase was only 12.6%. So why again such variations in crops we are not aware of?
So somewhere down the line, Akhilesh, it's just been another promise. MSP has just been another jumla that has been given to the farmers.
I think the reason it becomes, yet another promise is, why aren't we putting in the real solutions? Why aren't we putting in the real solution to make farming a business rather than a subsistence living for the farmer? And that means, why don't we have a capital intensive investment? For example, in the calculation of cost, there is no return on capital that they compute because we don't expect farmers to invest anything. We have not let that be a practice. Why don't we have technology coming in? Why don't we have value add products to the farmers? Why isn't the logistics infrastructure from the farm to the market improved where so much of produce is lost? If all this is not done, why don't we have all year round irrigation after 70 years of independence? So if you're not dealing with those structural issues, all this is just a spit and polish exercise. So this is what it is according to me. Minimum support price, like we said, only 15% of produce is procured. So 85% of farmers are anyway not benefiting. They are left to the vagaries of the market.
This is the sad state of agriculture in India. I would request the government to take agriculture very seriously. Farmers are dying. Lands, agricultural land is being sold. People are moving towards city and trying to be industrial workers.
Where also there are no jobs.
Where also there are no jobs. So this is a very dangerous trend. Ignoring and lying to the farmers is not going to take you through 2019. Let us be very clear about that. It didn't take Congress through in 2014. So the point is, MSP, as we find it, is another hogwash. There is no substance to MSP. MSP finally is not going to help the farmer. This is just another window dressing that this government has kept in front of the farmers to make them feel good. Finally, nothing is going to happen. Akhilesh and I take your leave till another episode, another time. Namaskar.
If you like this video, please share it and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.